Hello friends, welcome to my channel which is Safety Officer Knowledge Transfer. Today in this video I am going to explain you about how to pass a safety officer interview. So make sure you stay tuned and I will take you through this entire video. And just a very quick one, I am HSE lead working in Qatar in oil and gas. So let's get started before wasting a moment. Before that, don't forget to subscribe to the video and please give the video a thumbs up. Thank you very much. Our agenda for today's discussion will be we are going to see list of safety officer interview questions, top scoring answers which I am going to suggest you, heads up or tip to crack the interview, and last but not the least, list of questions asked during safety officer interview. And as I mentioned, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Now, the first safety officer interview question I want you to prepare for: tell me about yourself. So this is the first question probably an interviewer may going to ask you during your interview session. So in your response, you just have to talk about the different skills, experience, quality and achievement you have that makes you a competent safety officer. So here is a great example answer to assist you. You should start the conversation by thanking him. Thank you, sir, for shortlisting me for this interview for the position of safety officer today. Myself, and then you just have to tell your name. Over the years, I have built up extensive experience of 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, depending upon the total number of experience you have in that field as a safety officer. I am passionate about safety in planning and organizing the things. I was a part of 1 million or 2 million or 3 million safe man hours in my previous project. And if at all required, you can share your certification. If not, you can leave it. So that is a really good and confident answer you can give. And this will set the stage for the rest of your interview. Here is the next question I want you to prepare for. What are the different steps of a risk assessment? So before giving answer, you need to make sure that what risk assessment it's all about and how to conduct it before attending this interview. So here is a great example answer to assist you. There are basically 5 steps to conduct a risk assessment. Step 1, identify the hazard. Yes, you have to identify the hazard in your first step. Before that, you should know what hazard is. Like I define hazard something with the potential to cause harm or an adverse health effect on people. Once the hazard is identified, you have to move on to the step number 2, which is identify the people who might be harmed and how. Now you have to identify the people who is going to involve in that activity, like a worker, visitor, office staff. Step number 3, evaluate the risk and decide on precautions. In step number 3, you just have to evaluate the risk, what precautions we need to take after that to eliminate or reduce that potential risk. And always remember, like, precautions and mitigation should always be achievable. Step number 4, record your findings and implement them. You just have to record whatever your finding is. I would make sure all my findings were reported accurately before implementing the outcomes of those findings. And it would be important to act quickly on those findings and ensure that everyone within the organization was well aware. Step number 5 is that you have to review and update time to time. Finally, the 5th stage is to periodically review, and if there is any changes in the nature of job, update that risk assessment again. So I attached one risk assessment sample here on your screen. You can see. Here is another one I believe will come during your interview. What are the responsibilities of a safety officer? So while answering this question, you have to be careful because the interviewer might reach to the next question from your given answer. So well, to answer this question, you need to share your roles and responsibilities from your previous or from your past jobs or your past responsibilities. So you have to structure your response or you structure your answer in such a way that you explain your time from morning till evening, that during 8-hour shift. Here is a great example answer to help you. My roles and responsibility is very vital to ensure there is no harm and no leak to the environment. So you might be wondering about this term no harm and no leak. So it's very simple, like no harm means no injury to the worker, to the people, and no leak to the plant or to the environment. Implementing health and safety standard in the workplace, ensuring valid work permit is obtained and available at site for all the jobs, ensuring that toolbox stock shall be explained well by the task supervisor or the permit holder, monitor site activity and worker welfare at site, and you need to make sure about the worker welfare, that availability also, like rest shelter it's available or not, drinking water, ablution blocks, providing suggestions and solutions to make or maintain safe workplace, sharing or cascading HSE related informations to the workforce, report unsafe act conditions and near miss at the workplace, conduct random assurance checks, inspection on tools and equipment, conduct random PP inspection and compliances check, participating in site HSE walkthrough, provide initial incident report and involve in investigation, submit HSE report, daily site observation, audit checklist. So here is the next question I want you to prepare for: accident investigation and its steps. Here is a great example answer to help you. Accident investigation is the process of determining the immediate and root cause of an accident so that corrective actions can be taken to prevent similar incidents from happening again. So the steps involved in accident investigation, basically the accident investigation is done into 4 different steps. Step number 1, gathering informations. Yes, you have to gather the information, and those information must be factual. You have to gather those information by visiting to the incident site. You have to visit to the incident site, and you have to gather those informations by talking to the people, okay, interviewing the witnesses, and by capturing those by taking photograph, sketch and videos. Just keep remember, like photograph and videos are not allowed in oil and gas until unless permit is there and you are authorized to do so. Note: before visiting the incident site, make sure that site is safe to enter and give priority to the injured person if still not been shifted to the hospital. Step number 2, analyze the information. Based on the findings, whatever you have, draw your own conclusions about the immediate and root cause. Step number 3, identify suitable control measure. Once the immediate and underlying causes of the incidents are known, appropriate control measures can be identified. Step number 4, plan the remedial actions. When the action plan is being prepared, appropriate immediate control measure must be given, suitable priorities and time scale. Here is the next question I want you to prepare about hazard and its type. In your response, share the hazard definition and its category. Here is a great example answer to help you. What is hazard and types of the hazard? So I defined, like I mentioned earlier, something with the potential to cause harm. Hazard can be grouped into 5 categories. Physical hazard. Hazards that can cause personal injury to a worker due to workplace environment is a physical hazard. Chemical hazard, hazardous substances that can cause harm, can result in both the way health and physical impact, such as skin and eye irritation due to any chemical substances. Biological hazards, hazard included viruses, bacteria, insects, animal and all those things. Ergonomical hazards due to poor body posture, poor workstation, awkward body postures, which can result in musculoskeletal injuries and all those things. Psychological hazards which can impact employee mental health and mental well-being, like workplace violence, security cases, and stress. Here is the next question I want you to prepare for. In which circumstances a hot work permit can be issued? So this is one tricky question interviewer may ask. So this time interviewer wants to know the mitigation and control measures of hot work activity. So then don't get confused in this case. In most of the cases, interviewer is going to ask like in which circumstances a confined space permit can be issued. So if he's asking about confined space, so meaning to say he wants to know the mitigation of confined space activity. Okay. So let's stick to the question like in which circumstances a hot work permit can be issued. So here is a great example answer to help you on that. Valid hot work permit must be obtained before starting the activity. Hot work location must be enclosed with habitat or welding booth. On your screen, if you can see that orange color tarpaulin, it's called enclosed habitat or a welding booth. And definitely it should be provided with enough lightings inside that habitat or welding booth. Initial gas test and continuous gas monitoring is required prior to start that hot work activity. Trained fire watch must be available at location with means of communication device, IS phone, radio, and yes, fire extinguisher and charged water hose also required. Hot work location must be free from combustible and flammable items. Involvement of trained and competent welder, fabricator in the job. And all those involved personnel must be equipped with appropriate PPE like apron, face shield, 18-inch welding gauntlets, gloves, welding visor with helmet, and 4-in-1 toxic clips. So here is the next question I want you to prepare for. What is isolation and its type? So what isolation is? Isolation refers to the process of physically disconnecting a piece of equipment or a system from its energy source. This is typically done during maintenance or a repair job to ensure safety of personnel working on that equipment at the downstream. Isolation types. There are basically 4 types of isolation. P means process isolation, E means electrical isolations, M means mechanical isolations, I means instrument isolations. So in this video I covered these 4 different types of isolation. But keep remember, isolation it's in very detail, and very soon I am going to come up with the detailed video on isolation. So here let's come back to the video now. Isolation types, PEMI, you can keep remember: process isolations, electrical isolation, mechanical isolation, and instrument isolation. Yes, so that's all for today. And a question asked during safety officer interview, along with that you need to prepare yourself like on these sort of questions also, like tell me something about yourself, what is zero energy demonstration, what is LOTO, some definitions, what is method of a statement, who develop JHA and JSA, in which circumstances a hot work permit can be issued, in which circumstances a confined space permit can be issued, or in which circumstances a lifting permit can be issued, types of hazards in oil and gas, why isolation is important, what is no harm and no leak means, and some sort of scenario based question and answers will be there. So these are the questions interviewer are asking now and then. So you just prepare yourself on these questions also. Coming up, actually I am making a detailed video on activity related hazards and mitigations. Like I am preparing one video about on hydrojetting, its hazards and control measures, hydro testing, bundle extraction and insertion, confined space, critical lifting, isolation in details, scaffolding activity versus design based scaffoldings, and administrative level of questions in HSE fields like how to develop HSE plan and procedures, develop key HSE deliverables, observation techniques, develop HERA hazard identification and risk assessment bridging plan, TJMP like traffic journey management plan, and preparations on LFI means learning from incidents and a tabletop discussion. So thank you guys for listening me, and with this we came to an end. Thank you very much, and do like, share, subscribe to my channel. Keep an eye on my next video. Stay tuned, stay safe. Thank you very much.